lot of people came here looking for work, and there was work to be found. So my family immigrated from Ireland in 1840, just before the famine. They settled here in 4 generations. Yeah, going into the 5th generation now. So that's what got us here, and maybe it's a place to be from. So maybe that's what kept us here. We worked our way out of the mines by the 1880s, and my grandparents' generation had college degrees by 1910, and my mother and father were well educated. My dad was a professor of literature at the University of Scranton, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom for a while, but she was also a teacher and a singer and a voice coach, a voice teacher. And both of my parents were singers and actresses. They did theater. They did opera. They did a lot of opera in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Yeah. And so I grew up in a house filled with love and books and pianos and guitars. My dad was also a member of the Lackawanna Historical Society. So he'd go down to the Catlin House, maybe once a month on a Saturday afternoon, and I'd get out with them and spend the afternoon in the collection, in the library there. I'd just pull one book after the other off the shelves and read it, and put it back, go find another one, check out the maps, get into the artifacts in the collection. And so I learned more than a 10-year-old kid should know about the history of Lackawanna County at a very early age. Yeah, it was a good place to grow up. Actually, I just lived over the city line in the borough of Dunmore, but I spent a lot of time between Dunmore and Scranton. My aunt and uncle lived down on Washington Avenue, so you'd find me anywhere between point A and point B on any given day. And up along Roaring Brook. We couldn't swim in the river, so we went up to swim in Roaring Brook. I remember one hot summer day going over the Market Street Bridge from Greenridge up to Providence Square, climbing the hill. And the stench from the river was incredible. It was like, it was gagging us. Yeah, you could smell it all the way up to Wayne Avenue and Brick Avenue. It was really powerful. So it got me thinking that there's got to be a better way. We knew we couldn't get anywhere near the river. So that was always in the back of my mind. And it was years later, looking for Zen koans in the I Ching. And I found one that said, "To save the river, save the mountain." And I think that sort of became the mantra of my life from my late 20s onward. And I started getting involved with community organizations. I was a writer. I did a lot of writing, and became a founding member of the Mulberry Poets and Writers Association in the late 70s, and got into being a nonprofit junkie, and sort of said, hey, if it's something that we need to do in the community and you really can't make money doing it, but you can make it work, it's a nonprofit, and maybe it's something that's worthwhile doing. We had a series of meetings that Park Service helped us organize, and that led to the incorporation of the Lackawanna River Corridor Association at the time, LRCA, in 1987. And I was just involved as a volunteer. It was neat to get a sense that we had a common vision for the river. And so that was the start of it. There's a tremendous amount of our fellow citizens that love that river as much or maybe even more than I do. and that's that's really incredible. And you know, I don't feel responsible for that. The community has come about that on its own. I've only been lucky enough to be the spokesman or the cheerleader for that. We did it. We recognized, I think, 30 years ago that no one agency could do all the work, so we needed to partner. So it's been a partnership effort. So the development of the trail and parks along the river where there were once junkyards and dumps, it's visible. You can see it, you can sense it. We live in a rich, culturally rich part of the world. What has been created here it's really important. It summarizes and it complements other communities, other histories, and I think in an important way. You know, I think a lot of people will just, you know, fall over themselves in patriotic effusion and American exceptionalism. And I got to say, I'm one of them. I love this country. And but I think in maybe some different ways than, some folks and running for political office. I'm not running for anything. I'm just happy to be living in a relatively free country. We've had our dances with fascism and different forms over the years, and I think we have to be very aware of that and make sure it doesn't happen, and cultivate our relationships with one another so we can bring the people of America back together to have a sense of spirit and oneness and unity, and welcome and being a more welcoming country. The nativism is not a good thing, and I'm not a nativist, and I don't think Scranton would be what it is and what it had become, if nativism had prevailed. I think that we need to create an opportunity society, not for the rich, but for everyone. We need to be as concerned with the homeless guy overdosing on the riverbank as we are concerned with having someone want to invest $500 million to create a new industry here. And that, I think, needs to be the challenge for the whole country. E pluribus unum, we the people need to make it happen. We have both rights, but we also have responsibilities. And I think I'm maybe more on the responsible side. And how do we do that? How do we attain what we're responsible for, our freedom, and to keep it